F-I-R-S-T. First. First, I would like to take a different approach and ask you all to close your eyes. Just take a moment and everybody close their eyes. And picture a classroom. It's the early days of the 21st century and the doors open every morning to young millennials eager to learn. Think about all the different youthful learners entering the class. Learners of different abilities, circumstances, and skills. The straight-A student could be sitting right next to the child who struggles to spell their name. Now, visualise the teacher, the person who each child in this room looks up to, the adult who teaches them the building blocks of life. But in this classroom that you're observing, the teacher singles out the child struggling to learn. The teacher looks at the child's work and picks out words they are spelling wrong. Simple words such as the word first. Instead of teaching the child how to overcome this, the teacher makes a joke out of this to the whole class. Now, imagine how it felt to be on the receiving end. The punchline to a never-ending joke, the child that you have painted in your head. Open your eyes. Hello everyone, my name is Catriona Walsh and I was that child. Yes, this is little Catriona, an extremely aesthetic primary 1 student. Although campaigning against my mum and dad, 2006 unfortunately became the year that I embarked on my first big journey, primary school. Luckily for me, when my time came to put down the toys and take out the books, I had an older brother who had already been through the gates, so I was pretty sure I had this whole big school business sussed out. I had discovered that all I had to do was play, learn, eat, repeat for the next 7 years. I would still argue that this is an extremely smart way to lead your primary school life. However, little Catriona was rather unaware that primary school is the age where you learn a lot about yourself. Although in that photo I looked like I was ready to leap right into the primary school experience, when I went there, few words left my mouth, and I was labelled the girl who didn't speak. A shyness overruled me, which regrettably meant that I did very little reading and writing in front of teachers, preventing them from grasping how I learnt. When the shy phase faded out and a few more educational years flew through, there seemed to be a level of potential that wasn't quite being hit. Although the schoolwork I was producing was filled to the maximum of creativity, it was structured so poorly and held many grammatic errors that my work became unreadable. As a once little P1 who buzzed like a bee to learn, neglect in teaching caused me to turn against school, as these grammatic errors soon became subject to bullying. Bullying by students who simply identified me as stupid, but also bullying by teachers, the people whom we look up to in primary school. F-I-R-S-T. The word first was a word I was repetitively spelling wrong. You may question why I remember this so well. This is because it became the passing joke of my class, thanks to my teacher. For me, the word first was spelled F-R-I-S-T, frist. My teacher at the time found this so funny and now started his class saying, "Okay everyone, the first thing we will do today is..." The massive emphasis on frist encouraged a cattle laughter. I laughed along that day to avoid the embarrassment, but this day quickly became every day. Every week I was held back from being pupil of the week because I couldn't achieve 10 out of 10 on a spelling test. I was discouraged by fear and self-doubt from doing the transfer test due to this embarrassment. I was a child, swimming against the tide, unaware that the wind would change. What I didn't know was that this problem interfering with all aspects of my life growing up had a name. The year before I started my GCSEs in secondary school, I found out I had dyslexia, a word that scared me because now not only did people assume I was stupid, I was seen to be an underachiever. Unfortunately, it was once again not a teacher who picked up on this issue or who even encouraged me to get tested. It was my mum and dad. My mum and dad were able to see that a young girl was crying out for help as she couldn't understand why nobody could read all the great things she had written. It wasn't until recently that I realised the only educational benefit you receive after finding out you have dyslexia is 15% extra time during formal examination and your name highlighted in red on the register to single you out as disadvantaged from your peers in learning. For us young people with learning disabilities, we do not receive the full help needed until university. At the Ulster University in my hometown of Derry, support and funding is available for you throughout your studies. This can range from your printing paid for, a laptop, and even a qualified dyslexia tutor to help you in your difficulties with your learning. But how are we, the children that are discouraged and neglected in primary school, and then provided with very little educational support by the governments in secondary school, able to get to university to receive this support? For us to receive that support, we would have to battle an education system setting us up for failure. This is not a fair system and is a mountain that many of us cannot climb. Have a look at some of the people beside me. I'm sure everybody can pick out somebody familiar there. Now that you've had a good look, I would ask you one question. What do I and every single one of these people have in common? Strive, maybe, ambition, even the ability to create a collage on PowerPoint. Unfortunately, I doubt that, Albert Einstein. No, me and every single person behind me are dyslexic. Jennifer Aniston, Walt Disney, Muhammad Ali, Thomas Edison are all successful people, and dyslexia didn't hold them back from becoming who they are today because they were able to move up the education system without barriers holding them back. But imagine if these actors, artists, directors, scientists grew up in the modern day society and our current education system where we are measured on our grades, not our abilities. Would Albert Einstein have got into university to study physics? Would Walt Disney have been able to get into art school? And would Jennifer Aniston have been able to succeed in acting without having attended an acting college? Or would their struggles with their reading and writing have held them back from becoming who they are today? Steven Spielberg, the director of many classic films such as Jaws, The Goonies, E.T. Spielberg didn't find out he was dyslexic till later on in his life because nobody opened their eyes to the problems he was facing with his learning. When speaking openly in an interview after finding out he had dyslexia, Spielberg said that he wished he had somebody at school to help him understand that there were many, many others just like him. When I look back at this time in primary school, where how I learned became the punchline to a never-ending joke, I can understand exactly what Spielberg is saying. Because if it wasn't for people like my mum and dad, I wouldn't be able to simply stand up in front of you all today and spell the word first. That may seem obscure to some of you, but how you learn is probably very different to how I learn. And if our learning was like a race, I may have difficulty at the starting line, but I can promise you, with a little extra provided support, you will see me next to you at that finish line. It's now the 17th year of my life, and I'm spending it the best way possible, studying and stressing over A-levels. As my fellow 17-year-olds know, which I don't think there's any of us here, but there is a myth told us by 80s pop group ABBA that at 17 we will be young and free, achieving our full dancing queen potential. However, the wind most certainly did change, because now at 17, the child who once struggled spelling her name is now studying A-level English. This is because I have learnt that although I cannot face my dyslexia, I can definitely embrace it. I have hope for teachers that challenge themselves to hold an open-minded perspective for children with learning disabilities. Let us be resilient, because imagine a world where your teaching allows children like me, who is once an outcast in education, to reach their full potential. I can promise you that there will be so many more Anistons, Einsteins, Spielbergs and Walshes waiting to be discovered. Lastly, I would like to leave you all today with a poem to encourage hope, a poem for change, and a poem especially to teachers. There is a brighter future in education, so let's be the more inclusive generation. Regardless of your circumstance or disability, you deserve to learn just like me. Dyslexia deserves to be embraced, as it affects 1 in 5 of the human race. Henley Winkler, fellow dyslexic, once said something very true and effective. So in the words of the film star, how you learn has nothing to do with how brilliant you are. Thank you for listening.